As cliche as it is, one of the main themes throughout this book was how you can't judge a book by its cover, or in Michie's case, how you can't judge a student by the front they may put up. Many of his students put up a rough exterior, but were like every other kid on the inside. Throughout the book, this was shown by many of his students, one example being Hector. Hector was a junior enforcer for a local gang in the area, which led to adults talking about him as if he were a mafia ringleader. According to Michie, hearing talk like this, it was easy to forget that he was barely 12 years old. Hector was a confident kid that claimed to not be afraid of anything, but when his sister got sick at camp, he turned into the 12-year-old that he really was. He was no longer the tough 12-year-old that was part of a gang. He was the 12-year-old that was only concerned about his family. There was, after all, a real person under there. While Hector had been a tough student, some students just didn't seem to care about what was going on in the class, such as Tavros. Tavros, a student that had a tendency to distract Michie and the class, had to be the attorney for the other side when the students had their court case, and for a kid that didn't seem to pay too much attention in class, he tore apart the students' witnesses and in fact won the case because of how well he did. He had also been the student to come up with the idea in the first place, not something that anyone really expected. As was made clear in Michie's book, not all students learn the same way, and being able to incorporate different things into the classroom, such as a wide variety of projects, is going to give students more opportunities to show what they can really do. Samuel was a student whose activities included starting trouble, but when given the chance, he was able to shine in areas other than making farting noises. When the students were told to draw a floor plan of their bedrooms, he turned in not only a detailed, full-color plan of his entire apartment, but a full-blown handmade model as well. Samuel was able to show Michie how creative and original he was. Another example of students being able to bring themselves in the classroom would be when Michie and his team teacher Bob had students have a show and tell, in which they brought a culturally related object from home and gave a description about its significance to their family. Students were able to talk about something that really mattered to their families and therefore got to talk about their culture. When it comes to discipline, it was made clear in this book and at my service learning that yelling and embarrassing the students doesn't work. Not only can it lead to a verbal yelling match with our students, but it can also lead to students being afraid of teachers. There will always be a constant fight for control, but there are other ways to go about doing it. When it came to tracking at Quincy, it was an official policy, but it might as well have been. Those students in Michie's pull-out reading program knew that they were thought of as not being as bright as their fellow classmates because they knew that teachers looked down upon them and had a tendency of calling them stupid and the class of criminals. Tracking separates students into very distinct groups, and even though they might not actually be labeled as a certain class, students still know what's going on, including Armando, who told Michie that people think their class is stupid, and also told him he didn't want to be in his class the following year because he didn't want to be dumb anymore.